same order. So yeah, we're gonna let's run through this. Okay. Quiet. All right, here we go. Boys and girls, you're gonna have to watch me for right now. I'm over here.
Glorious, marvelous, fabulous, great, 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 wonderful, beautiful, lovely, let's celebrate. It's a glorious, glorious, glorious time of the year. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful season of cheer, of cheer, of cheer, of cheer, of cheer. Glorious, marvelous, fabulous, great, great, great. Wonderful, beautiful, lovely, let's celebrate. It's glorious, marvelous, fabulous, great, great, great. Wonderful, beautiful, lovely, let's celebrate. It's a glorious, glorious, glorious time of the year. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful season of cheer, of cheer, of cheer, of cheer, of cheer. Glorious, marvelous,
Okay. Okay. So, boys and girls, listen. The lights are gonna go down.
We can see yourself. This is funny.
Good evening. Thank you. This is the Mirror Lakes Elementary School Panther Choir. We are, first off, want to say thank you for inviting us to sing. We're very excited. They're also a little bit nervous. They just found out this is televised. So, with that, so just a little bit about us. This is a combined 4th and 5th grade choir. We meet once a week. 4th graders come after school for 1 hour on Wednesdays. Our 5th graders come on Thursdays for 1 hour after school. And then I put them together just last week. So they've only had like 3 rehearsals together. So when we do the parts, I got to say, I'm super proud of them. They do really well. I'm very proud of these kids. And as I said, I want to thank you for having us, and also thank you to the school board for supporting the arts in our school. It is so vital to our kids. And I'm not going to go any further on that because I'll start crying. I'm a mush ball. So with that, our first song is called Glow, Glow, Glorious, and it is written by Teresa Jennings. Thank you so much. Great. Second song is called Chime In. This is also from our Music K through 8 program, and this is also written by Teresa Jennings.
It's a season wrinkly. They sound so jingly. They sound so tingly. So ding-a-ling-ling. It's a season of bells. It's a season of bells. It's a season of bells. Chime in. It's a season of bells. It's a season of bells. It's a season of bells. Chime in. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Chime in.
Thank you. All right. Our next selection is called Celebramos Juntos, and they were super excited about this one because half of it is in Spanish, the other half is in English. And I took Spanish a while back. Don't get to use it very often, so some of it kind of left me. And the kids, it was great to have them being able to. I was like, did I say that correctly? So, and they had fun kind of laughing at me sometimes when I tried to pronounce things because my English comes through very, very clear. So, so celebramos juntos. All right. And again, oh, sorry. This one is by Mike Wilson.
Celebramos juntos. Celebramos juntos. Celebramos juntos. La Navidad. Celebrate together. Celebrate together. Celebrate together. This Christmas time. Ring the bells. Ring the bells. Toquen las campanas. Ring the bells. Ring the bells. En Navidad. Celebramos juntos. Celebramos juntos. Celebramos juntos. La Navidad. Celebrate together. Celebrate together. Celebrate together. It's Christmas time. Celebramos juntos. La Navidad.
That was absolutely one of their favorite ones when we were working on these. Okay. So, turn around, please. All right. So that is concluding our beginning part here. We will return in just a moment. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen and children, we are ready to begin this evening's board meeting. Mr. Teuber will not be attending. The school board meeting of November 3rd, 2015 is now called to order. The time is 6:01 p.m. At this time, we request that all electronic devices be turned off or put in the silent mode. Also, we ask that you please refrain from using flash photography except during the special presentations part of the agenda. We would like to take this opportunity to remind members of the public of the district's mission, which is to ensure that each student reaches his or her highest personal potential and the district's vision to be a world-class school system. Prior to the start of this evening's board meeting, we have been enjoying music from the MLE Panther Choir from Mirror Lakes Elementary School under the direction of Jeanette Ruskowski, choir director. This group is a non-addition choir open to all 4th and 5th grade students and consists of 31 4th graders and 17 5th graders. The MLE Panther Choir meets once a week after school for 1 hour to rehearse. And you are going to be amazed at how well they are doing after not very much rehearsal time. At this time, the MLE Panther Choir will sing Happy, Happy Holidays by Mary Lynn Lightfoot. As they depart, can we give them one more round of applause?
Good job, kids. Good job.
I hear some really good voices here.
Okay. They did a great job.
They did.
Outstanding. Somebody keeps moving
Pass out
my
some books
stuff
to
down
fourth
here.
graders. Are you in fourth grade?
Oh, thank you.
Just leave that there.
That's my stand, though.
Oh, okay.
Nice. We good?
senior in the IB program at Cape Coral High School. Welcome. Shamil is president of the Student Government Association and of the National Honor Society at Cape High. He is also a member of the Spanish Honor Society, Rho Kappa and Mu Alpha Theta, which is the Math Honor Society, as well as the Math Team and Science Olympiad. Shamil loves science and math and wants to major in mechanical engineering. He hopes to become an ER physician or a trauma surgeon. Welcome. This evening's agenda includes the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance, one recognition, one acknowledgement, public comment, consent action items, which include 1 item under resolutions, 3 items under executive services, 3 items under business and finance, 8 items under operations, 2 items under teaching and learning, 3 superintendent recommendations, and 4 items under other business. Board members, is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Fisher, seconded by Mrs. Dozier. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Mrs. La Riviere will deliver the invocation, after which Mrs. Dozier will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise for the invocation.
Will you please bow your heads? Father God, we want to thank you for the children that you give us, for the opportunities we have as a district with our teachers, other staff members, volunteers, to spend time with the students and help make a positive impact on their lives. Father, I ask that you give wisdom and guidance to our teachers and administrators. Give them wisdom so they know how to best meet the needs of the whole child. Father, I ask that you be with us this evening. Lord, I pray that you would provide clarity of mind, wisdom, and thoughtfulness with regards to decisions. Be with us in our discussions. May we listen aptly and be involved in just a really good guided discussion so we can learn from each other and guide us towards making decisions. Father, I look ahead and Veterans Day is coming up, and I ask a special blessing on our wounded veterans that recently, especially, who have come back from the Middle East and for serving. Pray that you would be with them through the healing process. Pray for all of our veterans, Lord, that are dealing with post-traumatic stress syndrome. I ask that you would lay it on our hearts to reach out to our veterans and let them know just how much they are appreciated and valued. We lift this night to you and ask that all things be done in the best interest of our students and our schools. In your name, amen.
Please remain standing. The cadet presenting the national colors tonight will be introduced by Sergeant Major Kimberly Williams of Mariner High School's JROTC program. Sergeant Major Williams entered the Army in 1992 as a public affairs specialist. Her tours of duty include Hawaii, the Republic of Korea, Italy, and one tour in Afghanistan as part of the Operation Enduring Freedom. Her awards include the Legion of Merit and the Bronze Star Medal. Sergeant Major Williams retired from the service in July of 2014 and started working as a JROTC instructor at Mariner High School in August of 2014.
Thank you. The national colors will be presented tonight by Cadet Colonel Keller Nocera Smith, the Deputy Area Commander for the Lee County School District. Cadet Nocera Smith, a senior from Mariner High School JROTC, has a weighted GPA of 4.1 and is seeking nomination into the United States Military Academy, where he will pursue a bachelor's degree in science. He is a distinguished member of the JROTC National Honor Society Scabbard and Blade and is the Raider Team Commander for the 2015-16 school year. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and
Justice for all.
You may be seated. Oh, we have to go down. It's been a while since we've done that.
Whole summer.
Some days are better than others. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I'd like to introduce Kathleen Rose, registered nurse, executive committee member for the Florida Action for Healthy Kids, member of the Florida Coordinated School Health Partnership, and NASN director, Florida Association of School Nurses. At this time, I would like to ask other staff to come forward if they're here. Ms. Sue Groves, Coordinator Health Services, Mr. Lee Hughes, Coordinator Curriculum and Staff Development, Ms. Alexandria Whalen, Curriculum Coach, Curriculum and Staff Development, Ms. Heather Parker, Wellness Coordinator, Insurance and Benefits, Mr. Sunny Stelmacki, Nutrition Services and Education, Ms. Lauren Couchois, Coordinator Food and Nutrition, Dr. Jason Kurtz, Coordinator Psychological Services, Ms. Lori Brooks, Assistant Director School Counseling, Ms. Mary Lynn Rodriguez, Coordinator School Counseling, Dr. Renice Monroe, Assistant Director, Student Welfare and Attendance, Mr. Patrick Hayhurst, Coordinator, Safety and Security, Ms. April Thompson, Prevention Specialist, Student Services, and Dr. Peter Bohatch, Director, Student Services. It does take a village, for sure. And they're all here. And at this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Rose to step forward and say a few words about our Florida Healthy School District. Kathleen?
Dr. Atkins and school board members, as a member of the Coordinated School Health Partnership and the Executive Committee of the Florida Action for Healthy Kids, it is my pleasure to present this gold-level Florida Healthy School District flag to the School District of Lee County. The Florida Coordinated School Health Partnership, Florida Action for Healthy Kids, Florida Association of District School Superintendents, I got that, Dr. Atkins, and the Florida Healthy Kids Corporation applaud your district for establishing a culture and climate in which students can reach their personal potential. You serve as a leader in the state in reducing and eliminating the barriers to learning, resulting in increased academic achievement. The School District of Lee County has demonstrated outstanding scores in the following areas. District infrastructure. A well-established infrastructure confirms the value of a strong administrative and community support that leads to sustainability of this program. Health education, because comprehensive health education provides the knowledge and skills to make informed decisions about all areas of health. Health services, in which we were rated highly commendable. School health services remove health-related barriers to attendance, performance, and academic success. nutrition services and education, because children who are well-nourished are able to achieve in school, and healthful eating reduces the risk of lifelong chronic health conditions. Counseling, psychological, and social services. Engagement and a feeling of being cared for are vital to attendance, retention, performance, and ultimately graduation. A healthy school environment, again, highly commendable. A healthy school environment reflects the physical plant as well as the climate of the school district. This includes safety, interpersonal interactions, and violence prevention. Employee wellness, again, highly commendable. Employees who are healthy are less likely to be absent, are most likely to be engaged and active in their jobs, and the cost of health care to the school district decreases, releasing funds to be used for educational purposes. The Florida Coordinated School Health Partnership and Florida Action for Healthy Kids look forward to continuing to support and promote your efforts through resources, technical assistance, and advocacy efforts. I want to thank you for being at the forefront of ensuring the future of a healthy Florida by creating health literate and health practicing students and staff that are fit, healthy, and ready to learn. As a school nurse for 30 years, I know that a healthy student does better in school. Classes are not all that school nurses are responsible for. Actually, we use all of our medical knowledge. We are treating students with seizures, diabetes, severe allergies, and asthma. You know, you can have all the intensive reading classes, you can have the best STEM program in Southwest Florida, but if a student is not there, he's not learning. Or if a student's parent has been told, if Johnny does not show up in class, you will be going to court. So mama sends Johnny, and he can feel his chest getting tight, and he can feel his throat closing down. And he sits there and he just thinks, breathe, breathe. And I guarantee you he has not heard one word of that math lesson. But if I have the opportunity to work with those students, to teach them how to recognize their symptoms and their triggers and how to take their medication correctly, and work with their parents to bring in their medication so that we don't have to wait for them to bring it from home, or worse, have them meet the child at the hospital. Johnny's attendance improves, his attending in class improves, his academics improve. Currently, 30% of a school nurse's time is spent dealing with mental health conditions, whether it's bullying, anxiety, phobias, or more serious things like bipolar disorder, cutting, or schizophrenia. Obesity has tripled in the last few years, and we have few programs to treat that for school nurses or parents to use. So I'm going to ask you to please support your health teachers, support your physical education teachers, support your school nurses, I'm getting dry, and support your cafeteria personnel, because they all work very hard to keep your students healthy. And I want to thank you. This is me to you, not the whole shamil, me to you. I want to thank you for caring enough, and for all these people for caring enough to make us a gold-level school district. And here is your flag. And if all of you will come, I want you all in the picture. It's big enough, I promise you.
And Shmail Zaidi will read the acknowledgement word, character education word for the month of November.
The character education word for November is citizenship and patriotism, the quality of an individual's response to membership in a community. Be aware, be informed, and be involved. The quote is, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country," by John F. Kennedy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Mr. Martin, would you please address the agenda item of public comment?
School board policy provides the opportunity at this point in the meeting to address the board concerning any matter on this meeting's agenda or any other matter relevant to the operation of the school district. If you completed a card and submitted that to me before the meeting began, you'll be called in the order of the card submitted. If you did not submit a card but still wish to address the school board this evening, the school board chair, Ms. Morgan, will give you an opportunity in a moment to express that desire. The rules concerning public comment are posted at the back of the room. The board does not respond during public comment time to remarks made by speakers. At the conclusion of public comment time, the school board chair may address concerns raised by speakers or may assign responsibility to the superintendent to do so. Speakers are expected to act in a respectful manner during their comments. Those who fail to do so after being warned by the meeting chair may be required to leave the meeting. Disruptive attacks on individuals are prohibited. Ms. Morgan, I have 8 cards this evening.
Is there anybody on the right side of the auditorium who wishes to address the board? Please state your name. Anyone on the right, left side?
I believe I have a card for you, sir, and for you, ma'am. Those things.
Sorry. Anybody else? Steve, did you turn in a card?
Yes,
Okay.
I have a card.
All right. Please.
First speaker is Mr. George Fox.
Thank you, Board, for hearing me again, and it's about the debt and finance, as always, and stay at it. You know, the whole situation with the Bonita High School, you know, the Board should not be in this situation. It has been discussed for a long, long time. You've known it needs to be built, and it's down to finance. Eleanor Roosevelt once said that the courage is the easy way, and the courage this Board needs to display is going after the sales tax and the debt reduction all at the same time to get the health of this district, its financial health, back on its feet. You should have enough cash to go get the piece of property that you need for any school you deem necessary to be built. And your lack of action in the area of sales tax has put you in a really bad spot. It puts the whole county in a bad spot and puts every student in this district in a bad spot. When something affects one, it affects all. I hope you keep that in mind. The only tool you have left, you're not going to get any help from the county commission, you're not going to get any help from the state legislature. That we know. They're really not pro-education. They wouldn't tell you that, but it's the truth. Their actions speak louder than their words. You only have 2 tools, and that's the half-cent sales tax and the debt reduction millage. Either that or you just keep borrowing money and run the credit rating of this district into the ground, and the people who come after you will suffer even worse than you're suffering from what happened before. So it is time. That's why I've been coming in here and asking this board to get its act together when it comes to its revenues. And we're in the Finance Committee, we are looking at some other ways, and we're hoping Mr. Teuber will come and represent the board on that. He's very interested in it. He's expressed that desire. So we're hoping. And we're looking at everything. We're going to go after revenue, cost, changes, and anything we can identify, we're going to try to facilitate. But this board needs to act. It doesn't need anybody to advise it anymore. It knows what to do, and it needs to do it. The time has come. Because it's not just Bonita, it's all the schools coming after that. And it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. There's come a point where there's nothing you can do. And then what? So you've got to look ahead. It's not just today. It's not just a political pressure, because the realities of life don't really coincide with a lot of people's political agendas and dogmas. It is time to forget that. You've got to do what's right for the school district, not your political people or whatever your leanings happen to be. Forget all that. You've got to take care of the students first. That's what you're elected to do. Your job is to tell the public what you need, and you know what you need. Now is the time to go and do it. Please, don't wait any longer. Waiting all this time has cost the people of Bonita Springs, the chance to get the right piece of property. You should have been working on this with cash a year ago. You could get that right piece of property. It's out there. You just have to go find it.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Your time's up, sir. Ms. Tara Jenner.
Good evening. I'd like to preface my comments this evening by saying that I did check the medical information with my husband, who is a physical medicine and rehab specialist who does specific work in the area of traumatic brain injury, and as a healthcare attorney who specializes in cognitive retraining of children with neural processing issues, I have an expertise, if you will, in an area of discussion for tonight. Last night I had a discussion with a parent in reference to her 6th grade son. He was involved in a PE class where they were playing dodgeball, and apparently the class involved 6th grade boys being pitted against the entire 8th grade boy class. And the teacher was not only allowing direct headshots in the dodgeball game, he was actively encouraging them. The boy in question wears glasses, and in addition to other things, they were damaged. But worst of all, he suffered repeated hits to his head, leaving him agitated, unfocused, and with dark rings under his eyes, as well as having some minor bruising to his face because of the glasses. If you look at the average height and weight of an 11-year-old and you compare it to the average height and weight of a 13 or 14-year-old, you will note that there is about a 10-inch and 25-pound difference, and that's for the average kid. This is huge when you're the smaller child who's on the receiving end of a dodgeball headshot that's done intentionally. Headshots are deemed to be unsportsmanlike when sportsmanlike conduct according to the International Dodgeball Association, and intentional headshots are noted to be unacceptable and unsafe. Dr. Mark Halstead, who's the director of sports concussion clinics at the Washington University, noted in an article about dodgeball concussion that brain injury for headshots caused by these direct headshots, that they can last longer when the patient is younger. Coup contra coup injuries are those that are caused when there's a deceleration and an acceleration of the brain within the skull. And what happens is the brain, which is like the consistency of jello, bounces back and forth alongside the interior bony structure of the skull. Although there may not be visible signs, the shearing forces that are cause a tearing effect to the neurons, and the neurotransmitters are impacted and so forth. And it can continue to cause additional damage to the brain cells even after the injury is sustained for days and even hours and days. Damage from this type of injury can present in a variety of symptoms that can include long-term memory impairment, reduced problem solving, attention and perception problems, and there's an indication that over 1 million injuries like this occur a year, with a third or more of them having long-term effects. While the mother was very concerned about this, when she spoke with me last night, she was concerned that it looked like sanctioned bullying by the teacher, having the 8th graders target the 6th graders. But she was also very concerned about the traumatic injury issue for the brain. But she didn't want to come forward, and she asked me not to give her name or the name of the school or anything, because she's a teacher in Lee County, and like it or not, there's still an element.
Next speaker is Mr. Yepram Dervahanyan.
From Dervahanyan, Lehigh Acres, Florida. I hope I'm clear here. I've had some brain injuries because I played hockey and football, so she's just talking about brain injuries. So I know what she's talking about. So I'm trying to be clear here. I'm talking about this new school they're talking about. I defeated 2 millages in Farmington Hills, Michigan. They kept asking for more money for this, that, this, that, this, that. Eventually, they built what they wanted and got most of what they wanted for a lot less. So we have people on the...
I'm sorry, go ahead, sir. Excuse me. Go ahead.
We had people on the board back then that had financial interest in getting certain things. I come to some of these meetings. I don't have any students. I love my country, but I fear my government. I come to these meetings because I'm a citizen, so I pay taxes. And through the time here, I'm not too happy with the school board. Common Core comes up, nothing done. Testing comes up, doesn't seem nothing gets done. So I'm really disappointed. So I think if you go into this new school, I hope you have people that can know how to finance this, how to construct this school, where the money's coming from, negotiate contracts. I work for a Ford Motor Company, and at times we have to go to our vendors and tell them to take 5% across the board cuts. So look at everything to get the money. The last thing, we pay enough taxes. So I think you should look at cuts to your suppliers, contracts, and ask for a 5% maybe cut across the board to help finance this. Thank you very much.
Ms. Edlene Luis? I'm sorry, Mr. Yes, sir, right here.
Hi, everybody. My name is Adlin Lewis. I am with the Haitian American Lee County Democratic Club. This name might sound new to some of you guys, but we are a growing club here in Lee County. We are part of the minority here in Lee County. We are a product of the Lee County system, okay? Now, I urge the school board to demonstrate leadership and a commitment to the diverse student of Lee County. Now, we want you guys to pass the NAACP's map by resolution by the end of this year, because we cannot wait another year. That's all I want to say for now. You guys will be hearing a lot from this from now on, so the sooner you act on it is the better for you guys, because we're not deciding to stop on this. We want that to go as soon as possible. Thank you.
Mr. Steve Sherman?
Thank you for your time. My name is Steve Sherman, and I'm here to encourage you to accept the NAACP redistricting map that was presented. Prior to 2014, the Lee County School Board followed the lead of the Lee County Board of County Commissioners in determining their structure and the districts that they used in determining seats. In 2014, the school board came to the realization that the total at-large system did not serve the residents of Lee County or the school board or the students that they represented. They realized that going back to the pre-Jim Crow situation of at-large districts combined with, or pre-Jim Crow single-member districts combined with at-large was much more representative of what was needed for the future of Lee County. That was a partial step because the school board has also accepted the district lines drawn by the Board of County Commissioners, which were designed to favor certain commissioners who were already seated, but were certainly not representative of communities of interest. In 2011, the first redistricting maps submitted were rejected because Estero said, wait a minute, we don't belong in two separate districts, even though this is at large. We belong in one district. When the maps were redrawn, the Dunbar community stood up and said, wait, we don't belong in two separate districts. We belong in the same district, even though this is at-large elections, realizing that communities of interest belong together. The maps that the NAACP has presented for your consideration complete the action that you started by bringing together communities of interest to provide a voting bloc strength to properly represent the communities. Whether those communities elect a minority person or not is not relevant. What is relevant is whoever serves from those redrawn maps must pay attention to the needs of that community of interest. So I would like to encourage you prior to the end of this calendar year to accept the NAACP presented maps. Thank you.
Ms. Lane Charizal.
Elaine Charisol, and I also am with the Haitian American Democratic Club, and I urge the school board to demonstrate leadership and commitment to the diverse students of Lee County and pass the NAACP map by resolution by the end of this calendar year. The NAACP map that was provided September 22nd that you guys have, it adheres to the traditional redistricting criteria. It also has a low population deviation district to district that comply with constitutional principles and requirements. The map is also drawn with natural shaping and connects all districts with the exception of water boundaries. The map that you have protects incumbents from running against each other. Therefore, no school board members would have to run against each other in the future. And last but not least, it's easy to understand and keeps the communities of interest together. So please accept redistricting that map. Thank you.
Mr. James Muwakil.
James Muwakil, Lee County Branch NAACP President. Thank you for allowing me to speak. The Lee County NAACP, we urge the school board to continue to demonstrate leadership and commitment to the diverse students of Lee County and pass the NAACP's map by resolution by the end of the calendar year. Back on September the 8th, of this year, the Lee County NAACP sent a request in writing to the school district requesting that we be put on the September 22nd agenda, in which we were, but we also requested a 1-hour workshop to demonstrate the different principles regarding our NAACP single member district map. The response from the school district said basically we would have 15 minutes on September the 22nd to do our presentation, and then at that time we would need to request additional time such as the 1 hour for the workshop. On September the 22nd, the presenters did request verbally, officially, for that workshop. I'm here this evening to reiterate our desire to come before the school board on November the 17th for a 1-hour workshop. We also ask that the school board put single member district on the ballot. Pardon me, you already have done that. But we also request that you put the Lee County NAACP single member district map on the agenda for November the 17th. So we respectfully request 1 hour on November the 17th for a workshop, and then we request that you put it also on the agenda for that evening for public comment. The school district has its own autonomy. You can use the county lines or you don't have to. I'm not an attorney, but our attorneys have said so, that you're not bound by anything that county does regarding boundaries. You have the autonomy as a political body in and of yourself. You have the autonomy to redraw those lines, whether or not the county goes along with it or participates or not. We hope that you take that opportunity, but thank you.
Mr. Marvin Getz.
Good evening, board members. And I'd like to talk about the substitute teacher shortage. I brought with me tonight a list, partially, of about 20 school districts nationwide, from Maine through parts of our own county, down to Tampa and that area, Hillsborough and so forth, from California, Oregon, all talking about looking for better managed hours for substitute teachers. District OKs pay substitutes more. They helmet teachers to get a raise. They're raising anywheres from $20 to $30 for the day, not $1 or $2. And it's nationwide. I don't see that we can sit on the board on here and expect people to sign up to be substitute teachers. Currently, we have 1,261 substitutes in the district as of today. We have 5,600 and some odd teachers in the district. The national ratio, teacher to substitute, is 3 to 1. We should be at about 1,800 available subs. Without that, we can't guarantee that we can fill every commitment every day. So you may have principals having to cover, we'll divide the classes in half. Teachers will have to give up their planning periods. There are many reasons. The point is, it's time to take action and get started. We can't wait much longer. I don't want to put it off. It takes a commitment from you. It takes listening and coming to a conclusion of what can we do. The way I see it is by providing incentives, and I sent you all a package this morning, so you should have it, and it gives you various ideas. Thank you.
Those are all the cards, Ms. Morgan.
Kevin Regal.
Dr. Adkins, the school board members, Mr. Martin, Mrs. Johnson. A couple things I heard about at the 1:30 meeting was there was a $20,000, I wasn't here, so I don't have this information, but there was a $20,000, and if I'm wrong, please let me know, retainer voted on about a case with a disabled child, Matthew Parsons. So as I'm getting more information, is that for the district to retain a lawyer for a legal matter with that student? And if so, one of the issues I have is because one board member recently said to me he would fight me with the full resources of the school district if I went ahead and filed some lawsuits on some issues I was pressing. Protecting the interests of the school district versus what is doing what is right and rectifying situations that were wronged, otherwise known as the golden rule. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Nobody likes giving free money away. We understand that. However, this is an ethical dilemma for each of us in our hearts. I look at some of the things that I've been told by a board member, and I'm not going to bring it up because he's not here today, and I don't think that's fair. However, I look at situations like this, and I hope that we as a district can bridge the gap between doing what's in the best interest of our children and also what's in the best interest of the individual. I wanted to thank Superintendent Adkins for meeting with me earlier today. And I look forward to the personnel issues and matters that Mr. Martin wrote me that would be handled, and I look forward to discussing that. One of the issues I have is public records are still not being fully fulfilled. I sent emails to everybody about that. I'm being charged hundreds of dollars for public records requests. Hundreds of dollars. That's almost as if saying, Mr. Regal, we don't want you to have these. Other requests are still being denied. I did get an email that said it would be handled. Thank you, Mr. Martin. I appreciate that. And this has nothing to do with Dr. Adkins. I'm sure if Dr. Adkins knew about it, he would be right on it, so thank you. On a side note, I'd like to end on a positive note. The bus incident reports seem to be down. The public is hearing less about the bus and transportation issues, and this is very positive. Late issues with schools and kids getting there on time are subsiding, and that is wonderful news. So we all look forward to more continued bus news happiness, shall we say. So anyway, thank you. Have a great day.
Mary Orthodoxou.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Atkins. I too want to speak about this $20,000 retainer for an attorney to fight a bullying case. My understanding is that you already lost with the law judge on this case. And to go forward and spend district money, which is taxpayers' money, to yet again cover up bullying after the Perez situation, I thought you would know better. I've been in touch with some of the people in this situation. I'm going to tell you right now, this is unacceptable. That yet again, we're standing here with another child that was bullied when you all profess to be so concerned about the student population. This should be addressed, handled, and whoever is involved and who allowed it in the school needs to be terminated. We're playing the pea under the cups again. Let's shuffle everything around the district and hide it from the public. You guys are not hiding it. We know about it. And we keep looking to you for leadership to stand up for the kids in this community. And you're failing them over and over again. So, again, these people are going to have the help of an army from Lee County to take you down. You should have addressed it. You should have addressed the situation with the school. You already are culpable to have training done for this bullying situation on the Perez case. If it fell into that time frame, accept responsibility, it happened. Nobody likes that it happened. Apologize. Half the time people just need to hear, I'm sorry. We will address this. You already forced to train your administration team on bullying and harassment and retaliation. And then to have a board member tell people in the community, anybody that dares to think that they're going to stand up to this board or sue this district, he will use every resource this board has to bring us down. Well, bring it on. Because that is unacceptable. That is bullying. That is intimidation. If this community cannot stand here and address our board on grievances, you're violating the First Amendment. So now we're going to bring in the First Amendment Committee to fight you in federal court. This is absolutely ludicrous. Now let's get on to the agenda. I've noticed every single agenda, we are renewing the same contracts, the same companies. I know we have a budget for advertisement. Why are we not putting these bids out there? Why are we renewing the same companies? I know some people have personal relationships with some of these companies.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
Chris Quackenbush.
Good evening, board and student. Tonight, our student read the words of the day, patriotism and citizenship. Excellent. But our children are not going to get it by osmosis. They're here to get that knowledge of patriotism and citizenship. And I'd like to see tonight's resolution. If you will call your attention to the first line, whereas public schools are the backbone of our democracy. Well, let me tell you, if you've had any training at all in our Constitution, you will know that the word democracy does not appear anywhere in the United States Constitution, nor does it appear in any of the other 50 states' constitutions. We do not have a democracy. A democracy is the rule of the majority, the tyranny of the majority. And our founding fathers hated democracy. We do not have a democracy, and this is a flawed resolution, and I hope you will change it. Also today, at the 2 o'clock hearing, I heard about a review of the book that I have been talking about for over a year, called Out of Many. I have that book with me today, and she was right. It's really big. It's 1,200 pages of op-ed. Now, she said, oh yes, there's a bibliography. You can research it online. Well, how can you have a bibliography when there are no references anywhere in the book? There's no number 1, number 2, no citations of other resources that should be accessed. So this book was written by 4 authors, so you don't know anybody who did it. But Mary Jo Buell is one of those. Her PhD was from the University of Wisconsin, where she's the author of Women in American Socialism, Feminism and Its Discontents, A Century of Struggle with Psychoanalysis. And she is also the co-editor of the Encyclopedia of the American Left. These are the authors of the book that our best and brightest are reading. Here's a quote. All Indian women controlled their own bodies. All Indian women, you'll note. And we're free to determine the timing of reproduction. We're free to use secret herbs to prevent pregnancy, induce abortion, or ease the pains of childbirth. All this was strikingly different from European patterns in which the rule of men over women and fathers over households was thought to be the social ideal. Washington presidency, although he dressed in plain American broadcloth at his inauguration and claimed to be content with a plain Republican title, Washington was counted among the nationalists. He was anything but a man of the people. About the fall of the Berlin Wall, Gorbachev thus took the lead to end the arms race with the United States. No attribution to Ronald Reagan whatsoever. In fact, Ronald Reagan, a charismatic leader who sometimes invented his own past and seemed to believe in it. That's a quote out of this book right here.
Thank you, Ms. Quackenbush. Your time's up.
Thank you.
Bob Valenta.
I'm going to have to speak fast to fit this in 3 minutes. Page 3, item 4C3, Dr. Amy Desamore recommends acceptance of the audit report for the Foundation for Lee County Schools, Incorporated. Why are we not auditing the Lee County School District, but we're auditing unaffiliated corporations? This board has the authority to hire 3 people only: the superintendent, the board attorney, and the district auditor. When are we going to fill the empty seat on this dais and hire a full-time auditor? Why do we never answer this question? Page 5, item 6B, board approval on the 16-17 calendar. The normal summer vacation period is 10 weeks. We've gone from 12 weeks of summer vacation last year to just 6 next year. That is ridiculous to parents like myself who split the summer schedule with their former spouse. That means I only get 3 weeks of summer vacation to spend with my daughter next summer. This whole push for the adults to have a longer Christmas vacation is hurting the kids. They need the summer break to debrief, unwind, and recoup. But we're not looking at their interests or that of the families affected. Shame on the so-called adults who push for this early start. Most districts in the U.S. start the school year the Tuesday after Labor Day. This puts the semester break sometime at the end of January. Many studies have shown this allows the students to come back from Christmas break with enough time to go through a review of what they have already learned and then have midterms. Functionally, this is a better way to learn and then review. Retention has been proven to be better, while stress is greatly reduced. What are we doing to these kids in the pursuit of the teachers having a longer Christmas, not winter, break? And finally, the First Amendment consists of the first 45 words of the Bill of Rights, written by James Madison, and serves as the blueprint for freedom of expression and religious liberty. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. I'm concerned every time some members of this board say that they've talked with someone in the public and they said X, Y, or Z. I'm very concerned about Mr. Toiber's comments in public about getting rid of a short list of us citizens seeking to petition redress of their government officials. This is a God-given, constitutionally protected right of the people. The First Amendment is simple. It's not thousands of pages of convoluted legalese. We are petitioning this board in public forum for all to hear, not private conversations, that it hire a district auditor to audit the huge district budget in its entirety and to cease and desist in attempting to trample the First Amendment rights of the people who dare to speak out in public against improper behavior. The next time you have a private conversation with a citizen, inform them of their duty to come before this body to state their grievances, and that this nation has a long-standing principle of speaking their grievances out in the open for very important reasons. Thank you.
Nancy Sims.
Good evening. Nancy Kelly Sims, Treasurer for the Lee County branch of the NAACP. The NAACP's map keeps communities of interest and general shaping intact in current districts 1, 2, and 3. The NAACP's map in proposed District 4 keeps communities of interest in the North Fort Myers area intact. The North Fort Myers area is split in the current school board map, which does not allow residents from this area to join together to vote on issues that residents have in common. The NAACP's map in proposed District 5 keeps communities of interest in Greater Fort Myers and Lehigh Acres intact. The current school board map divides these areas despite residents having common interests. The NAACP's map has districts consistently moving from east to west. The current map has some districts that move north to south, while others move east to west. The NAACP's map is consistent and would allow voters to adjust quickly to the new districts. I also urge the school board to demonstrate leadership and a commitment to the diverse students of Lee County and pass the NAACP's map by resolution, which you have the authority to do before the end of this calendar year. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori Fahey.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Atkins, Mr. Martin. I have to agree with Mr. Valenta about the 2015-16 calendar. And not only is there a concern for our children, I know they were trying to schedule it so the testing was done before Christmas, but I don't agree with those ideas either. The other concern on it is that we're running into the same issue we had last year, that teachers' first day will be August 3rd, but their first pay period will be August 31st. So that's a long time for them to go, and we have a lot of time to address that before we get to next August. A couple concerns that have come up this week with communications. I just received a parent link about 5 o'clock today that there was a child abduction attempt yesterday at 2:30. So we should have received that parent link a lot sooner than tonight. Another parent had contacted me last week that her son's bus was in a minor accident, and parents were not notified unless they called in. And that should have been a parent link communication too, I believe. Along the same lines with the communications, we're still waiting to see tests posted on the school's websites so that we know what tests each school is giving and our children are taking. Just to bring up some unfinished requests remaining from our previous superintendent so they don't get forgotten. Board and parents have requested the board to complete a thorough review of costs of district testing and the unfunded high-stakes testing.
And we've never completed that yet, so I'm hoping that we can still, now that you're all back on track, can get to that. And I'm also hoping to see zero-based budgeting. I know that you're going to pass the budget tonight, but for the future, the zero-based budget is a good idea so that we can kind of work it backwards, and we might find we have some more money if we're not spending it on areas we don't need to spend it on, but we just always have. Thank you for your time.
Okay, that concludes public comment. Next is approval of action items in the agenda under consent. Board members, are there any agenda items you wish to pull for discussion? Mrs. Fisher.
I have no pulls this evening.
Mrs. Dozier.
I have no pulls, thank you.
Mrs. La Riviere.
I have no pools.
And I have none. Is there a motion to approve the agenda's consent action items?
So moved.
Second.
By Mrs. Dozier, seconded by Mrs. Fisher. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Included in the approval of the consent items on the agenda is a resolution proclaiming November 16th through 20th, 2015 as American Education Week. Dr. Atkins, you have some recommendations for us.
First recommendation is I recommend board approval of the 2016-2017 instructional calendar as presented.
Is there a motion to, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. La Riviere, supported by Mrs. Fisher. Discussion. Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Next recommendation, I recommend board approval to award bid number B157237RC for the purchase of diesel and unleaded gasoline transport delivery to Port Consolidated as indicated on attached bid tabulation. This bid will be effective for 1 year beginning November 7th, 2015 through November 6th, 2016, with the renewal options for 2 additional 1-year periods upon written agreement of the vendors and the district, at an estimated annual expenditure for the first year of $9 million. Approval authorizes the superintendent to execute all related documents.
Board members, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
By Mrs. Fisher, seconded by Mrs. Dozier. Discussion? And feel free to weigh in at any point. Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
I'm going to wear glasses for the next recommendation. I recommend board approval to award bid number B157243C for cafeteria disposals district-wide to All Florida Paper, Inc., Calico Industries of Florida, LLC, Dade Paper, and Bag Corporation. And I think I can read it better without these. Dexwell Interboro Packaging Corporation, Peninsular Paper Company, Pyramid School Products, and Serve Pack Products, Inc., as indicated on the attached tabulation sheet for the period beginning November 3rd, 2015 through November 2nd, 2016, with renewal options for 2 additional 1-year period upon written agreement of the vendors and the district. Estimated annual expenditure for the first year of $1.4 million. Approval authorizes the superintendent to execute all related documents.
You have heard the superintendent's recommendation. I'm going to repeat the award bid number B157242JC. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. La Riviere, seconded by Mrs. Fisher. All in favor? Oh, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Oh, let's see. We're up to board member comments.
Attorney, oh, yeah.
No, no. Would you like to start tonight?
What am I allowed to say? Anything I have for discussion?
Anything you
want to say?
You have full free reign. I'll move the mic closer to you.
Thanks. There was just one suggestion I had. I heard that an issue was with transportation, and there was one idea I had come up with while sitting in the student advisory meeting, and it was an idea to change our transportation entirely, from moving from buses to using trains around the entire city of not just Cape Coral but of Fort Myers. It will not only, I've thought about it, being in business, I have thought about both business-wise and environmentally. It will both benefit in many aspects. It would open up jobs for the local civilians. It'd be better than using 747 school buses that we use currently that create tons of pollution. It would allow students not to wake up at 4 a.m. to catch the bus in order to get to school at 7 o'clock. I think it'd be a better idea to renovate or to move up and upgrade to this new transportation system. Not only will it allow Fort Myers to become an example of the world moving towards sustainability, but it'll allow for a better better unification of the entire county. Thank you.
And that's why we invite students to sit at the table. That's awesome. And I think perhaps a meeting with Mr. Morgan and Dr. Atkins to continue the conversation might be called for. Thank you very much.
County commissioners along the
Well,
way.
there you go. Let's get the county commissioners in on this. Yes, thank you. Very good. Mrs. LaRiviere, do you have any comments this evening?
No comments.
No comments. Mrs. Dozier?
I have a couple of things. I'm very concerned about what the parents said, Dr. Atkins, about sanctioning students in the middle school, and I don't know what school it is. She and I had a conversation around that, but that is certainly something that I know that we do not sanction. And so if you could address that with the middle school principal. We continue to hear comments about public records, and I'm going to say again, I've made multiple public records requests from the city of Fort Myers. I have never once been charged for a public records request. They're a much smaller entity than we are, and I don't know how they go about doing it, but we might want to look at them as far as how they do it. Everything that I ever requested, I got through email, so I know I know that there are certain things that are labor intensive when you're looking at records such as employment records and stuff like that, especially if you have to redact anything, but that continues to be an issue, so I would ask that you look into that. I would also ask that as far as the pay period that we addressed, or the calendar that we approved this evening, we had a very long summer with teachers and pay situations, and I certainly hope that you and your staff will begin to look at that right now to address that so that we will not be going down that same road again. So I would ask that you do that. I received a message yesterday from a parent, and I forwarded it to you about, she said that she receives multiple parent link messages, but when there's something of urgency that they didn't. So there's some way we can use that parent link for a better way. I would ask that. Mr. Martin, I would ask that at the special meeting, we did approve a fee. If you could kind of under your comments address briefly what that fee was for and the purpose of that recommendation. And Dr. Atkins, I would also ask, there was a comment made about us continuing to approve multiple contracts. Well, contracts, several years ago, we started on a path of having a rotation of all the contracts and looking at all the contracts. Could you report to us on where we are with that? Because, I haven't heard anything about it lately, but if we could just have an update.
I'll give you an update, sure.
Okay, thank you. And that's all I have. Thank you, ma'am.
Mrs. Fisher?
Just a few things. First of all, I want to thank Shmuel for being the first one of our board student representatives to sit at a board meeting, and I like your idea. I actually talked with Lee Tran a couple of years ago, but just keep that idea and present it. I want to say that our students are totally involved in this community and so amazing. You know, when we see the reports in the media, we wouldn't think, but the majority of our students are going to school every day, doing the right thing, and really are the future leaders of tomorrow, as you can tell by the example here tonight. So thank you, Shmuel. Mr. Getz, I'm glad you're still here. thank you for being persistent and for providing us with highly qualified guest teachers. You know, we have a shortage of teachers and sub-teachers and bus drivers and trades workers, and we're in a crisis situation, really, in education. So as we move forward, we are looking to make changes as rapidly as we can, and I know Dr. Atkins has already made some moves and has some good ideas, but this is a nationwide situation, like you mentioned, and when our leaders of our local colleges and universities are talking about closing down programs for their education programs because they have a low census, we know that we need to do something to encourage people to want to get into this profession. And part of that, I think it's people are more likely to be available if they know that they are appreciated and they know they are valued almost more than the money. So, and I want to thank the people who came to speak on behalf of the NAACP redistricting calendar, and we will certainly be taking that under consideration again. And I'm very happy tonight because this evening we were presented with a flag. Finally, we have been one of the 5 districts in the state of Florida to be awarded the gold level of Healthy School District. So I want to thank all of the people who have worked so hard to make that happen. And it's a good thing because our staff is getting healthier, our kids are getting healthier, and we are focusing on some of the very basic things that we need to ensure student success. Thank you.
In response to the request of the NAACP to consider the district map they provided to us, we will be having an organization meeting on Tuesday, November 10th, next week. And one of the things we will be talking about is scheduling content for briefings and workshops for the coming year. This is my last opportunity to chair this meeting. There will be a new board chair at the next meeting. I just want to make a comment about the fact that people choose not to fill out blue cards. It's a matter of courtesy for the board and for the parliamentarian. It's much easier for us to plan public comment if a card has been filled out, the name is on the card, it's part of public record, than for us to have to go through the process of asking people to raise their hands. That's a privilege extended to people who arrive at the meeting too late to fill out a blue card. A comment was made by Mr. Mora this afternoon at the briefing. Mr. Martin brought it to my attention. He said that there would be an opportunity for public comment during the site selection committee meeting, which is not the case, which is not typically the case. And so I think as a board, Mr. Martin, you said we have a couple of options. We can direct site selection to have public comment. Well, I'm going to let you go down that road for me. Thank you.
As you indicated, the policy with respect to the site selection committee does not establish a requirement for the receipt of public comment. So that committee would not be required by policy to allow an opportunity for public comment at its meeting. The board can give direction with respect to that issue if it desires. So you could take a vote and give direction that for this particular purpose, that committee would receive public comment. If you do that this evening, of course, that would be a motion without a recommendation, so it would require a public comment opportunity this evening to address that issue. You could, if you don't wish to actually take a vote, you could just express encouragement to that committee. The committee can make that decision itself. They can vote to allow that opportunity for public comment, but the policy itself does not require that that be allowed for.
Okay, thank you very much. Board members, do you have any comment? Mrs. Dozier?
I would just say I would encourage the committee, since somebody on the committee made a statement to that effect, I would encourage the committee to make that consideration.
And I heard Mrs. LaRiviere, yes, and
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, we will simply tell them that we think that should be. I thought I saw Mark back there. Oh, there he is. Okay, very good. And just a reminder, Board, we have Plus Delta after this meeting in the, our little
Yes.
kitchen. Okay, and those are my comments. Mr. Martin?
Yes, Ms. Morgan, and as Ms. Dozier requested, the recommendation and action by the school board this afternoon at the special meeting was to appeal a decision of an administrative law judge with respect to a motion filed by the school district's attorney. It was not an appeal, it is not an appeal of the final judgment with respect to that hearing. The motion was to move the hearing from the jurisdiction of Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act to the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, which our attorney and I believe is the appropriate forum for this particular matter. That's why the recommendation was made and why the board voted to take that action.
Thank you.
That's
I'm
it?
sorry, that's all I have.
Okay. Dr. Atkins?
Just a few comments. First of all, I don't want to butcher his name, Shmail? Shmail. Shmail. He and I had a conversation at the Student Advisory Committee meeting, and he pitched his idea, and I was, really quite amazed at the thought that he had put into it, and encouraged him to bring it forward. It's really. I told him I thought it would be really cool if you're superintendent and be able to make a recommendation regarding changes in transportation that literally came from students within the district. So, anyway, we had a great discussion, and you all have a wonderful student advisory board, by the way. Just a great bunch of kids, and I think we're going to learn a lot from them as we do when they come here and represent extremely well. I do want to just address some of the comments, not all of the comments, but some of the ones that I think are within my purview. The comment about the middle school, I know that somebody wants to be anonymous, but I really would like to know, what middle school that is. I mean, I think that's very important and certainly not behavior that we would condone here in the district. And if we have, students at risk and potential concern about employee performance, it's something we want to be brought forward. So I will be looking into that. A couple other things. Mr. Getz, with the substitute shortage, I certainly do appreciate your comments. We are in a substitute shortage, we're in a teacher shortage, we're in a bus operator shortage, and among many others. And I think that in a way it's good that we're growing, but this is a part of that growth, and we have to jump on top of it. Some of the ideas that we have talked about is beyond the ones that we've already talked about with as incentives for difficult to staff schools, would be also posting some long-term substitutes in some of our schools that have more vacancies. Again, looking at the structure to provide incentives, so I'm glad that you're putting that forward. But a part of the other problem is that we're taking some of our very best substitutes and hiring them. So some of the best teachers that ever worked for me started out substitute teaching. So and he's right. I mean, we do have over 1,200, but that's still enough to meet the need. We've had to do some things to reduce the amount of professional development that occurs during the day, just to make sure that we have enough teachers in the classroom, and so it is pretty critical right now. So I encourage y'all, make sure that Dr. Pruitt connects with you, and we will be bringing forward hopefully salary schedule in the very near future, and you are all part of that. I did have a good meeting with Mr. Regal earlier today addressing. We were talking about inclusion. And that is something that I've heard from a number of teachers in this district. So had a really good, thoughtful conversation, and we did, because our briefing ran a little over. We ran out of time, so we're going to schedule some more time together to address that issue and some of the other things that he's brought forward, such as the public records request. I'll be happy to look into that one. See some of the other pieces, the instructional calendar. Just a couple things about that. First of all, one of the things that we're always looking for on the instructional calendar is parent and community participation. I think I have 12 folks that I nominate, and one of the things that we look for, that we try to find in the superintendent's recommendations, are people who are parents or members of the community purely, and not, like an employee with a student, but literally a pure parent or a pure community member. So we're always looking for that. So I would encourage you to hold on to that. So next time that comes up, that they're available. The shortened summer is an issue. Last year it was the longer summer. So we have both sides of that. The issue and with pay. Let me address the pay issue, because what the shortened summer did is, although teachers start August 3rd and their first paycheck is August 31st, what's happening there is that when they're paid at that end of year paycheck, so to speak, that paycheck, if you divide it by the number of pay periods throughout the summer, actually carries you through the summer to include the August 15th paycheck. So in other words, if you were being paid your normal rate through the summer, you divide it out by the number of checks, that on the August 15th you'd be receiving a check that would be equal to that pay period rate. What we're doing is we're moving from paying current to paying in arrears, and the shortened summer allows that to happen. So although you're not getting that check, if you're a teacher who taught with us last summer, your pay at the end of the year would actually carry you through. Now, I said all that. There's a lot of educational pieces around that we have to over-communicate that as we move throughout the year. We're planning to do presentations, put things on the web. You have to really look at it on paper to see how it works. I think that at least addresses that, but we're also looking at other things too to help support our employees. I think last summer we learned a very difficult lesson about communication, and we just have to do a better job this summer. We did have Mrs. Morgan and I met with a gentleman yesterday, and auditing was one of the things that we discussed, so I look forward to moving some thoughts forward as it relates to that. ParentLink. I think the one issue that you brought up, absolutely accurate, in terms of being a day late on that, and we apologize that occurred. ParentLink is one of the things that we can tell you is that one of the most recent incidents that occurred, we had some good things that happened, and we had some lesson learned things that occurred. We had, and this is the incident that occurred at Ray Pottorff, but we had 97% of our families actually did receive the phone call from ParentLink where there was a connection made. We did note that 14 families did not have accurate phone information, and we had 45 parents hang up on the ParentLink call just seconds after it called. So that was a good thing, but the lesson learned was that ParentLink has an emergency feature that number hit the primary numbers that folks listed. If you hit the emergency feature, it goes to every number that's listed. So that didn't happen in this particular case, but again, it's a lesson learned that for the next time. And then out of all of that situation at Ray Pottorff, I think the one thing is what the students did in that situation is very commendable in terms of reporting things to school administrators, and what I would always encourage I did this as a principal, I would encourage our principals and our parents to do this. Being safe and secure is a team effort. So feeling safe to report an unsafe situation or an insecure situation is critically important. Our kids did that in this case, and as a result, we were able to take what was potentially a very deadly situation and turn it into a situation where we were able to take action so that all students were safe. And I think in terms of the other requests, the cost of district testing and the test posted on the web, we are working on that. The good news is that we were able to do a data collection for elementary, middle, and high school, so that part of it has been completed. So we have a school-by-school analysis, and so we're putting together our action plan around that. I think I shared some of that with some of the board members, and having said that, that's all the comments I have, other than say that I appreciate all the folks coming out and speaking tonight, but also this afternoon as it relates to the Bonita High School property. So that was, we learned a lot.
Yeah, we did. Thank you. The next scheduled meeting of the board is on Tuesday, November 10th. It's a school board organization workshop at 10:30 a.m. On Tuesday, November 17th, there is a special school board meeting at 2 p.m., immediately followed by a school board workshop, as well as a school board action meeting at 6 p.m. At this point, having no other business to come before this body, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. La Riviere, seconded by Ms. Fisher. All in favor? Aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.